Hey guys, V-Man from No Budget Productions, and with me, no, not like there's no with me today. This isn't one of the Pizza Roll Diaries or anything. So, yeah, sorry, done that far too many times. So today on Constar Continuum is yeah, yeah. Today is Constar Continuum. Sorry, man, I do far too many things, and it's pretty late right now. I've got my blueberry tea, trying to get into more of a health kick. I'm switching from coffee to tea. A little tired at the moment, so yeah. So anyway, that being said, we're going to be going through some comments that you guys have left on the fan film Break Free. Because last week we did uh, kind of a retrospective of Break Free, and one of the things I told you guys we would be doing would be comments. So yeah, we'll be going through your guys' comments today, and just kind of going through, some of the good, some of the bad, some questions. Um, because I know on some of the videos, some of the comments are kind of nasty, and again, like I said, some are great questions. I think on these, they were pretty decent. Like I said, some of them, oh man, they're terrible. I know on as I go through them, usually I tend to delete the personal attacks. Like if someone says, they're fucking fat, I'm like, fuck, delete, block, because I don't believe in personal attacks. I don't think it's right. And those people have no place in the channel. I think that shit just fuck off on that. But any critique, I'm always like, hey, bring it, because you know, once you put it out there online, it is what it is. So that being said, let's get to it. So first one, Michael Sylvester, uh, the late Michael Sylvester, bless his heart, says, "Congrats, Vance, wonderful job, loved it. Hope to get to be involved with more." Which that was 2 years ago. Which he was involved with the film Shakedown, and he was involved with the film the the Last Word, which Shakedown was Greg Teff's first film, or first fan film we had, which was Constar film. And then he was involved with The Last Word, which is the film where the Constar crashes, thanks to Mark Bennett's character. In this film, he's Cadet Rowe. At the end, he's Cadet Rowe. In that film, he's Lieutenant Rowe. So he did get to do two more fan films. And then, if I'm not mistaken, he actually did one more for someone else, because he was telling me about it. And I believe he finished it before he passed away, but I'm not sure. Because I wasn't, since I hear a lot of things, who um, I'm not sure who he filmed with. So, and I haven't seen it. So, but I do believe he was able to film with someone else a different part for a different character. So he did get to film one more, I believe. So that's why I just that's the same one. Um, so Dan Crandall says, "Fun, engaging stuff, V man. Nice to see some of my friends in this. Cool offshoot to a classic TNG story that should have been explored further and now is." No, and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's one of those things that going into this, I really wanted to see more. I mean, we kind of got kind of a sequel with Family, but that was more of a Picard story instead of the ramifications of Wolf 359. And again, not just the after effects of Wolf 359, but like the like, hey, they fucking took Picard. Is there going to be an Earth? Like I had said last week, I really wanted to see like what happens if Earth is gone. Like people sitting there talking about it, going like, Earth's gone. What do we do? Because in Battlestar Galactica, you sit with the characters for several episodes on something simple, and I like that because the slow burn. And I really wanted that with this episode. I really wanted that with the characters to sit there and go, guys, we're not Picard, we're not Riker, we're not, because even Riker is sitting there with Guinan going, fuck, what do we do? You know, he doesn't have the answers. And if someone like Riker could have that, what about fat bloated Menard? you know, um, or Wanda on the bridge. Or I think her character's name is the Lines. You know, what about her? Like she's sitting there going, "What are we gonna do?" you know, you know, um, I love that. Bless all their hearts. But I think that's a valid question, and I really wish it was explored more, because it really wasn't. So Michael King, which is the choice of voice, says, "Congrats on some fine storytelling. I always felt that the destruction at Wolf 359 and the aftermath was never really explored in TNG. I'm glad that you all did in such a great way. Great work, everyone. Lots of emotion in this one." Thanks, Michael. Yeah, again, it's one of those things that I think everybody kind of wanted to know. I mean, we got a touch of, kind of a touch upon that with Cisco, with the death of Jennifer. But that was again more of a Cisco telling Picard to fuck off. you know, um, Again, we had little bits and pieces here and there, but not really the effects of, you know, in that one moment of history. And I always feel like that's what these fan films are great at, is taking those little pieces and just, you know, magnifying them and say, let's sit here and wait and really delve into this. And that was one thing that we could sit there. Like I said last week, if I had 20 more minutes to just kind of tell that story, um, not 20 minutes on set, but 20 minutes of storytelling to just delve into. Um, I would have loved to have done. We had more films to tell. Um, and it sadly took precedence because we had other things to do. Um, Busy life on the set, but I'm very glad you're happy with it. Eli Irving said, "Wow, this turned out even better than I imagined. It cut together very nicely. The dialogue is pretty seamless. I was so happy to be a part of this shoot and happy to be a member of the No Budget Productions family." Uh, I can tell you the pleasure is strictly on this side, man, because it was great to have you there. I think that was the first time that him and I had met, and it was great to have him on there. He was such a positive guy. Um, Actually, no, it wasn't the first time him and I met. First time him and I met was at Ray's, and I invited him up from there. Yeah, first time was at Ray's, and I was like, man, I want this guy on set, and he came up from there. Yeah, first time was at Ray's. Um, but acting wise, this is the first time that I had acted with him. But it was great. It was great to have you, man. Um, but it really did. Your scenes, like I said, your scene with you and me, that handshake, it makes it even more heartbreaking, when in in your character's final arc with Menard, to see your character progression, Eli, go from great friend, trusted first officer, and then as your story progresses through the network of how can what's going on with this network, what's going on with this, and doesn't Menard trust me, and all this, like it's heartbreaking, dude. And I love this storyline that he and I did. It's great to have you as part of the family, man. I'm glad you trusted me on that, man, because I know there are some people who, if they push back hard enough and like, I really don't want to do this, hey, not a problem, because I'm not one of those people that's like, look, you will do this, because these are fucking fan films, and I'm not one of those types that force people to do stuff they don't want to do. But I'm glad you trusted me on it, man. And uh, I think storyline wise, I think the payoff is great. And I think what we have coming, um, I hope the payoff there is even better for you, because you know, uh, yeah. No. Oh, it's the same one. Forgive me, guys. There's so many comments here in the comment thing. It's hard to keep them straight. So George Mustafa says, "Wow, this production is wonderful. My crew on the USS San Juan and I are very happy and honored to have been part of this production. And the fan film family fans, we are at your service, and thank you for trusting Oh, I forgot to expand. But the they played in the opening sequence of this film. They played the Borg and the crew of the San Juan. It that opening sequence, because originally it was just supposed to be the Constar flies through, and then we pick up where Bernard's walking across the bridge, very much like a Star Trek 3 type uh, captain's log, which I was fine with. But when they brought up the idea of, hey, we've got this Borg, we've got these costumes, we've got these cosplay, like if you want any of it, and I saw the Borg, I was like, ooh, can we do something with that? Like whatever you want to do, I don't care. However you want to do it, and that's usually how I approach things. Like usually, I'm not picky, because you can't be. When people are working for free and they're doing it on their own time, you can't be nitpicky on things. You have to learn what to say. I need this specifically, and what to learn to let go on. So I was like, hey, do a scene however you want to do it. Doesn't matter. This is what the vague thing of what I'm looking for. This specifically, I need the crew to be beamed out at a certain point. Like, doesn't matter. This is what I need, and it was great. I tell you, it was great. That Borg costume. I was just thrilled to death that I had a Borg in my film. Because it's like, man, the Borg costume looks so fucking cool. And again, that's part of the beauty of when you know cosplayers and you're able to reach out to them, or when you have that, people that have that passion and that love for Trek, and they go that extra mile, and then you say, hey, I'm doing a film. Would you like to be in it? And like, yes. That's something where you don't have to worry then about makeup because they have that covered, and they love to show that off. And that's something that I don't know why more people don't do that. Because again, takes care of the camera work, takes care of the makeup. Um, I mean, my dad used to go steal sweet and low packets from Burger King. He'd just go, he'd buy like a thing of tea and then like stuff his pockets full of sweet and low packets so my diabetic mother wouldn't have to, get sweet and low from the store. So that's how cheap he was. So I hope I'm not that cheap, but I know how to save a penny. But it's one of those things where when you find people who have a passion and they share your passion for what you're doing, and you see something that looks that great, man, because I could never do anything like that looked that cool. Um, that's awesome to me, and it brings fans together. And it's like, man, that is so cool, and especially when you can put your name on it and say that's my film, and a Borg that looked that cool, and people that were in, those Starfleet costumes, on that, it's like, man, that's awesome. And then from their perspective, it's like they got to be in a film. Normally they wouldn't be. And that's cool. To me, it's like that's the beauty of doing these fan films is everybody gets to come together. Fucking hey, man, right on. That's cool, man. So to me, it's like that's what these things should be about. It's never about the ego. It's never about, I'm the best of the best. Oh, fuck that. To me, that's awesome. So anyway, so Crazy Galvatron, which is the guy who plays uh, Ruiz. He says, great story of the aftermath of Wolf 359, the search for survivors, both the wreckage and the strength in each of us personally to keep going in the bleakest of times. It was so much fun to be part of this and come together once again as a family of friends we are. No, and that's exactly it. The coming together. I think this was probably one of the funnest shoots that I've ever been a part of. Especially when we got to the film of the 11th hour, where I was able to be more behind the camera than in front of. I think that was the moment that actually pushed me to be more of a behind the camera type. Uh, I and I know exactly the moment it was. It was where Josh turns to the front, and he turns to the front, looks toward the view screen, or what should be the view screen, because there's no view screen on the bridge at dance sets. But he turns to the front, like he's looking at the view screen. He's like, "You crazy son of a bitch did it." I fucking cracked up. And I think that was the defining moment that set my path from being an actor who can direct to being, no, I want to be a director. I don't want to act anymore. It doesn't interest me. I've done it. Good. And that's the beauty of doing these things, is seeing how much you can just expand yourself and your knowledge. Uh, I had so much fun on this shoot. Um, some things we succeeded on, some things not so much. But you learn every time, and then the next time you learn some more, and then you fail on some things, but then you go back again, you learn some more, and that's the beauty of these things. It's it's great. Uh, I encourage everybody, go out, fail at making a couple of films until you succeed. Best advice I can give. So we have Roy Ivy. He says, "Epic, Vance, very layered, and you always are adding weight to the story. And in retrospect, the story seems inevitable. Good camera work, love the CGI, and particularly enjoy the sound and music. You made me sound great. Earth is safe." Well, that's the thing. The I can't take all the credit. I think it was uh, you Roy's one of those guys. He lives hours and hours away from the set. And this dude, he sat there all day, smile on his face, and I think he only had I think I think he only shot 2 minutes. And I felt like the biggest jackass because he was there all day, never complained. And it was the same way at Melbourne. He was there all day. And I think he only shot for like maybe a half hour. Maybe. Every time we go to set, he's, you know, and that's sadly that's one of the that's one of the harsh realities of set. Is sometimes you go. And I know because I've been one of those people where like they don't have the camera off to the engineering section. They only have it maybe whenever my lines are set. So there's really no need for me to go sit over there. So I mean I do because I was the engineer and I did, but I mean I sat there all day. They didn't really need me until my lines are needed. So I know what it's like. But I mean I felt bad for Roy because he was there all day, but he had a smile on his face. And I know what that's like because I've been there. But I love having Roy on set because he is such a joy. And every time I'd see him, he'd always smile. And he'd always be like, "How are things going?" I'm like, "Man, things are going great." He's like, "Okay." And then he'd grab us, like, I'd be like, "Hey, Roy, can you help us? Can you read the short?" And he'd be the first one to help read the lines because we don't memorize nothing on my sets. I don't memorize shit. I'm like, "No, hey, read us the lines." And granted, it's a cheat, and but I'm very open about that. Like, I don't memorize nothing. With me working 70 hours a week at work and full time dad, alone going to school, like I don't memorize nothing. And this has been that way for years. I don't memorize nothing. I'll have, if the camera's this way, I'll have the script off to the side, and Menard will be, talk to the camera. Yes, Admiral, of course. The Constar will be ready to go at your beck and call. As soon as you say, Admiral. Whatever you say, sir. Like, of course, there's no lines on the page, it's a blank page. But it's like that's how we do it. That that's how I do it. You know, um, but I mean that's ultimately that's the only way I can get away with writing. You know, 20 fucking scripts, uh, and never memorizing anything, getting it shot, being in the moment. because a lot of acting is being in that moment and being flexible in what you're saying. Like sometimes when you write a script, uh, it sounds good on paper, may not sound good at the moment, or it may not sound good for the actor. So you have to be flexible with what they're saying or how they're delivering it. But as long as your line, as long as I get you to your line, so it makes sense. That's all that matters. Uh, so that your dialogue, I have to make sure your dialogue makes sense. So the intent has to be there. And so he was there reading lines. He was there with a smile. And again, it's the whole family atmosphere that was there behind set, which Dan and Wolf were very good on hospitality of their sets. You know, and that's always a plus, you know. But thank you, Roy. I appreciate it. Everything you've done on set and on each set, and everything you do in my films. You may play the evil Vanden Boss or mysterious Vanden Boss, but you are one of the kindest souls that we have. So Chronicle series says, honestly, I do think this makes for a powerful concept of series, and you've called it how the Federation would react to the USS Constar's crew. Yeah, I think if like realistically, I think if a ship was out rescuing a bunch of survivors, and I think if a ship was rescuing a bunch of survivors, and it was you know old or not, if they just lost 50 starships, or I'm sorry, 39 starships, I think they would kind of do something to be like, all right, we need a morale booster. you know um so and again, I get a lot of shit for why is this constitution class in the next generation time, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Or they'll watch the film and then they have the audacity to say, why is there next generation uniforms on a constitution class? That don't make a lot of sense. And it's like, god damn it, didn't you watch the fucking film, you stupid bastard? you know Especially the comments on the film Resistance. Can't wait till I get to that fucking film. God damn, because I say it right there, museum ship, and they tend to not remember that. Why are they on the ship? That doesn't make any sense. Why are the lights off? Dumbass. uh, some people, they just don't pay attention. It's like if your film doesn't have explosions, they don't pay attention. Um, God damn. Anyway, going down rabbit trails, but thank you. I do believe that if the ship was out there rescuing people and Starfleet had just taken a crippling loss, I think they would say, "Hey, let's uh let's do something to boost morale." I think they would. I mean, they did that with the Defiant when the Defiant had been destroyed. They brought the Sao Paulo in and was like, "Hey, let's go with the same registry number." Didn't really make sense, but I'm like, wouldn't they have it be, you know, the same registry except dash A? I mean, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine, I guess. Oh, I read that one. So Zam says, that was class and very deep. I enjoyed this. Felt the stakes in this. Well, thank you, Zam. I appreciate that, man. Um, yeah, I really wanted this film to have a lot of stakes. I didn't want it to be one of those films that, it was just kind of a one and done and, that's it. I really wanted to be one of those where, um, it really posed the question of what if Starfleet's gone? Even if it's just for a moment, where everybody on a personal level, professional level, and the scope of the world in which they're in, they're not only going in a world crisis, they're going through personal crises on several levels, because most films, they're in a world crisis and they're all facing that. Other films, they're going on a personal crisis and that's all they're contending with. I really wanted this to be a film on several different levels, and I think it works. You know, so George Kine says, "Great episode, Vance. It felt truly epic. Well done." Thank you, George. Coming from you, that's quite the compliment. I appreciate that, man. The Copycat. I just saw this for the second time, and it really expands on the Battle of Wolf 359. Stranger coming together to help others in their time of need. A good job on this episode. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I think there's something that can be said when for a film about people coming together, because I think especially these days there's too much friction, especially over conflict of ideas. A lot of times when someone disagrees with you, it's they're the enemy. I've got to destroy them. There's not enough. Let's work together for a common goal. And I think Ronald Reagan said it best when he posed the question, wouldn't all of our ideas, I'm paraphrasing here, wouldn't all of our ideas kind of just go by the wayside if there was an alien presence here? We'd fight for a common good. And that's kind of what the Borg represented. Like, what does it fucking matter about the Klingons or Romulans or whatever? Like, none of that shit fucking matters. If the Borg are going to wipe us out, wouldn't we come together? And that's kind of where we're at here. It's like, the fuck, man? Like, what if we're wiped out? What if we're all that's left? And they pose that question on the bridge. What if we're all that's left? What if this museum ship that's 80 some years old is all that's left? How fucked up would that be? I mean, we barely have power, and I really wanted, that's why I kind of lingered on that, where they're just kind of looking off to the side, like, fuck, what do we do? I mean, that to me, I wanted it to be a powerful moment. So I'm Menard's, like Menard's struggling with, I don't want to be in command. I want to be an engineer. Like I'm an engineer. But it's like, dude, you haven't been an engineer for like 80 years. You just don't fucking realize it. You're in the captain's chair. That's why Russo says, dude, get the fuck out of the seat, man. Go fucking sit in your chair. Like this is where everybody steps up. And then at the end of it, like they luck out. I had to go for that Hollywood ending, but like if I had my way, oh dude, I'd had the Borg fucking come through. Like we would have really gone the Battlestar Galactica route if I had. Like we'd gone a whole fucking year of we got to hide from these guys. Sadly that wasn't the way Next Gen went, so I couldn't go that way. That's one of the things about these fan films is you have to go the way Star Trek goes. You have some guidelines to go there. No, ironic that I say guidelines, but anyway, next comment. Oh, I already did that one. Charles B says, or Charlie B says, another excellent VMO production. Very cool. These just keep getting better and better. Vance, thank you. I appreciate that. I put a lot of heart and soul into the films, especially when I'm writing. Sometimes my execution sucks, and I admit that. I'm not the best filmmaker. I'm not the best at I'm not the best director. I'm not the best cinematographer. Sometimes I fall flat, but I think my writing. I think if you read the script, you're like, oh, I see what he's going for. And I think sometimes if you just look at the story and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I think that's one thing that I don't fail on is the writing. I think it's pretty solid most of the time. But I'm glad you enjoy it. I think character development is something that I'm pretty good at. Seeing where the characters go, I think it's pretty realistic. I base a lot of it on people I know, events that's happened. It's inspired. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic too. Abby A says, thank you so much for making this 1,000 times better than Alex Kurtzman's STD. Excellent story. Could you please tell me how did you guys overcome Alex Kurtzman's 15-minute ban limit on Star Trek fan films? Okay, I think you have a misperception. Alex Kurtzman didn't put a ban. There's no 15-minute time limit from Alex Kurtzman. guideline has a 15-minute for fan films for two-part, uh, which would be part one, part two. And again, keep in mind that is a guideline, that is not a law, which means technically CBS wanted to come in and say, all right, fat man, shut it the fuck down. Don't make any more. I could, they could. But they could do that for anything. Anything. For props that I use, they could do that for, uh, you know, eh, technically anything that I do in any of the films. I think, uh, you know, when the guidelines first came out, they were meant to stop certain things from happening. You also have to realize when the guidelines came out, this is before Star Trek Discovery came out. I believe that the guidelines were meant to stop anybody from misinterpreting a fan production from a the real McCoy. No pun intended. You will never mistake a no budget production from Star Trek Discovery. If you do, I think you need to have your eyes checked. um, and if you do, I'm very flattered. I'd like to see that film myself and be like, what? But with my, I think when you can see my white socks in the film, or my sneakers in the film, when you see the flaws that are in my fan films, um, those things are overlooked. For the time limit, you could make the case and say, well, kind of borders on the line of parody, because it's a fan film. This is like one step above shooting in somebody's garage. They're not that great, from a professional point of view. They're not professional in any type of way. So again, my interpretation, and I could be wrong, the guidelines are there to protect them from being mistaken from, this is a fan film, and this is the authentic, what's put on Paramount Plus. You will never mistake my stuff for theirs. I think the moment I cross that line is the moment I'll get a C&D. Now, I have made 111 fan films. They've never even approached me in any capacity. Watch tomorrow, I'll get that C&D letter, and then I will have to eat my words. But I think it's because I am watching it's the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. And again, I could be wrong. So if anybody ever says, well, Vance said, no, do not take, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving any legal advice. I'm just saying from my perspective, this is how I'm going about it. And the moment they say, hey, Vance, shut it down. Okay. And I've never tried to be something I'm not. Which is why when my crew comes up and says, hey, I don't have black boots, I've got sneakers. Oh, that's fine. Or hey, I've only got blue jeans. All right. I don't hide anything from my family, and I don't try to be professional. Care, because I understand, hey, my stories are what I'm going for. My fans understand that. So to answer your question, I never even think about time or anything from the guidelines when I'm doing my films. I simply think about, what does my story need, and then I simply do it. And none of that has anything to do with Alex Kurtzman. So you are misinformed. That has to do with CBS. But like I said, it's from my interpretation and mine only. It's the spirit of the law, not the letter. And it's just a guideline. It's not a law. It's not set in stone. So hope that answers it for you. So so David Hamilton says, not a bad little film. Great work by all the fans involved. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate that. I certainly will. We got more coming. So thank you very much. Angie D. Jenkins says, wonderful story. Love the Constitution Starship. When did Starfleet become so relaxed in their fitness regimen? Just kidding. You guys did a great job. See, and that's what I'm talking about right there. If somebody like me was on Star Trek Discovery, they'd be like, get away from the replicator. So it's all good. I don't take any offense to that. See, uh, now I've had some people who've been like, who said shit like that, and they were serious. Where I'm like, fuck it, where's that block button, man? Delete this comment, jerk. No, like I don't, I don't take any offense when someone, they give a good ribbing, because it's not like I'm gonna be like, fat. What? What are you talking about? Fat? What? What? Where do these man boobs come from? You know, nah, we're all fucking fans. It's all good. I get it. I get it. So USS ARNG says, very good story. Fills in some details and in a very short time tells the better part of an account. No, exactly. That's what I think every good fan film should do. They should fill in the gaps of the characters, and they should fill in the gaps of storyline ideas, because it's like that's what Star Trek should do. What I really hate in a fan film is when they try to replicate what's already been done. It's like, don't fucking do that. Like, fill in the gaps, man, because there's so much history that we don't know. Fill that in, man. Like, create your own characters, go fill it in. There's so much history there, man. Go do it. George A says, figured out why I like the theme so much. Reminds me of two other Roddenberry properties, Andromeda and Earth Final Conflict. Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment. I haven't seen either of them, but my the the I asked Adam Mullen, who does a lot of fan film uh, music, to do a Battlestar Galactica vibe for this season of Constar, and he came through for that. I fucking love it. It's so good. So thank you. I appreciate that. It's to me, um, I feel like you needed something a little bit different, because with the previous season of the Constar, every film had um, it had its own theme, for the film, which was something that I wanted it to, because I was still very, very much scared of the guidelines. But with this season of Constar, I very much wanted it to be unified for at least the intro, the regular credits at the end. I'd let that be different. But for the intro, I wanted it to be unified, because I was like, no, Constar, you know, Constar, you know. Um, and I was very happy with that thing. Um, so Fabian says, Starfleet must be extremely battered and almost completely in defeat when they return Constitution class starships to active service. Well, in the previous film, um, actually previous two films, but more the previous film, we did mention that it was a museum ship, and we're trying to escape. So it's not that we're necessarily returning it to active service. It's the fact that we just got slaughtered. 39 starships is gone, and hoping that you're aware of Wolf 359. If you're not, you probably should go back and watch them next gen. So, I mean, it's not like it's not like we just got our wrist, our hands by the Klingons, and that's that. Got fucking up by the Borg. So yeah, I'd say we did get battered pretty well. I mean, for years and years and years, this incident was referenced. I mean, even 5 or 6 years later, um, in DS9, when they make Cisco return to Earth, this incident is referred to um, by the president of the Federation when he says there hasn't been a scare this big since the Borg incident. I mean, they're talking about this incident. So, I mean, if that tells you something, man. So, yeah. And I mean, considering the fact that, the Constar is a ship that we just established, they've been out rescuing people. Um, Again, it's more of a symbolic gesture than, well, let's dig up this, let's dig this thing up. I mean, it, it's more of a symbolic gesture. So, sounds to me like you're kind of nitpicking there, more so than me just digging out a Constitution class ship. So, you know, I don't know, maybe. So, um, Charles Ellswick says, I haven't seen this in a while. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Senior Helper says, spectacular production. Yeah. Again, thank you. King of Utah. Vance got to sit in the best chair of all Star Trek. Well, I beg to differ. I think the Defiant is the best. Some people would say Captain Picard's. I can tell you it's not a very comfortable chair. It's not. Um, I mean, it's made fine, but I've sat in three different captain's chairs. Uh, Actually, no, I'll take that back. I've sat in four different captain's chairs that were made that way. And none of them were very comfortable because I've sat in them for extended amounts of time. um, so they may look great, they feel powerful, but they're not very comfortable. uh, yeah, they're not made for comfort. I'll tell you that. Um, so and Yeah, when you're supposed to be in battle and you rock the ship, you don't rock them. Don't fucking rock them. They're not meant to be rocked either because it's more like if you've ever had a Lazy Susan, how it kind of swivels, and it's got the same type of swivel motion as that. So you don't fucking rock them. That's not. I had one jackhole fucking do that. It's like, dude, don't, you're gonna break it. Don't fucking do that. I think these people, they forget when you're on those sets it's just plywood, dude. Like he was on the upper deck and he fucking came crashing down hard and he just fucking slammed himself on the deck and we were all like, dude, calm the fuck down. He's like, yeah, but it's gonna look great. And we're like, not if you go through the fucking floor. Calm the fuck down. I mean, these people just forget that guys, it's plywood. You can't do that. Like this isn't the starship. This isn't real. Just breathe. It's okay. But it's not meant for comfort. I mean, it looks great, but it's not. So yeah. So William Wells says, I want the DVD so bad, please. Well, I don't have any more of them available, sadly. So sorry, William. No. Stephen Cohen says, excellent video. Thank you, kind sir. 6Z Gaming says, cool video, mate. Well, bless your heart. Thank you. FF Ruda Gaming says, great. I like this video so much. Well, I'm glad you did. Captain Vessing, oh, my good friend. Captain Vessing says, beautiful, this amazing. Uh, Not quite English, but I get your point. Thank you, Captain Vessing. He's appeared in a fan film with me, so good guy. Jim's Landscape LLC says, sad day. So many ships damaged, but Starfleet will rebuild. Yep. And you're absolutely right, my friend. And we did. Joel S.E. Nab says, nice production, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. The nice thing about this, it had, you can only do so much on green screen. And this had a nice, working on those sets, like it ups the production value so much. The lighting's great. The sets are great. It just adds so much to the productions that I normally can't do. When you're in those physical sets, it looks so nice. Photographics says nice video. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Second. Heavenly 777 Protector says, "Yep, this is literally Battlestar Galactica was swapping the Colonels slash Cylon with the Federation and Borg. I love the music. Can I get a link?" Well, the no, absolutely. And that's the inspiration. This film is inspired completely by Battlestar Galactica. Like I said, that is my um, favorite uh, sci-fi. Um, the we don't have a link to because Adam did the music for me. I don't We don't have a link for it. But message me and I can send you the music personally. Um, I don't mind because it's a very simple Google Drive link, so I can just email you the music. So there, I got two different versions of it. One's about maybe 15, 20 seconds longer, but I'll send you both if you want it. So it's not a problem. So Full Suffering says R.I.P. Michael Sylvester. No, absolutely. Even though this is uh, five 5 months ago, um, he's still missed. Alex Smith says, "So okay, continuity. What happened to the people on the shuttle?" And that's one of the things about doing a. I don't just do fan films. I do fan series. Gotta stay tuned. Watch another. Keep watching the series. Uh, it does pop back up. Um, uh, Very important character, and not only the character, but the story arc for the characters. So it does pop back up in an important. It is very important later on for the series. So keep watching. Andy Tate, why is there a Constitution class ship in this era? Well, I answered. It was answered in the previous film, and it's also I. Well, it's been answered. It was the museum ship that Scotty and Picard talked about in Relics. It was the museum ship that Picard visited. Um, and since it was never really established where it was or how long it was there or whatnot, I was like, fuck it, let's just put it in the Wolf system at this starbase called Starport Orchard. Because again, it was never referenced. There was no starbase there. So I was like, screw it, let's put a starbase here. Let's put the museum ship here. Let's just put this here and let's put this Constitution class ship here and let's go. So that's why. So, to me, it was because it's never established it's not. So let's just do it. That's part of the beauty of getting to make your own series is when nobody tells you you can't, you can get away with it. So, because it's never established in, you know, canon that, what is it? That's why we have so much in beta canon that, it's never contradicted. So they get away with it. That's part of the beauty of doing fan fiction is, in fan films is, you kind of tend to go look at beta canon and go, you know what, I can do that idea. I can do that too. So yeah. So I like the idea. Um, and I had real world reason why there's a Constitution class ship is I had a Constitution class bridge to work on, and I wanted to tell the next gen story, so I did, you know. So that's why I took that idea that Card and Scotty had the museum ship, and I was like, let's do it. So Paul Robinson says, why are the Bazaar collectors blue instead of orange red? Um, well, because when you're doing any marketing person will say anything that makes you stand out is good. Whether it's really good or not, it gets you noticed, makes people talk. And I knew it would probably piss off some old school Trekkies because they'd look at that and go, "Oh, it's J.J. Abrams," and it'd be too J.J. It'd be too J.J.-ish for some hardcore Trekkies, but it would be too classic TOS for the J.J. crowd. I didn't really care. I just wanted something that would make me stand out. So when you look at a picture and you saw the Constitution class ship, but you saw the blue, when you saw the classic Connie with the blue warp nacelles, you instantly were like, "Oh, that's Constar." and that's it. I mean, when you look at it, you know exactly what ship you're looking at. You know, I mean, thing about it is, from a distance, if you're looking at it straight shot on, if you put the red orange warp nacelles on it, you don't know what ship it is. It could be the Republic, could be the Enterprise, could be the um, Constellation. You know, you don't know what ship you're looking at. You don't. To me, I didn't want to fall into that. But just changing it to blue and making it a regular Constitution class. You know, it's the Constar. You don't need to look at the registry. You don't. I mean, you could be, you know, 50 feet away. Could be 150 feet away. Doesn't matter. So just that one slight change made me instantly recognizable. You know, you could have 20 different Constitution class ships and put me right in the middle of it. It's like, where's Waldo? So it made me stand apart from everybody else. Same point. You could have 20 J.J. Abrams ships and you put my Constitution class ship there. And instantly you're like, oh, that's different. Even though I've got the same color of warp nacelle, the ship is different. So it makes me stand apart. So real world issue, that's why. It's because I stood apart. There is an in-universe reason, which I explained in one of the films. So everything I do for a reason, both in universe and real world. I don't just do it because I'm like, oh, okay, got to do it. No, there is a real world reason for doing it. I always want to set myself apart. Um, so that's why. MSG City says, nice. Well, thank you very much. Herman Dieselkamp says, nice. Well, thank you. Gina, Bina, and Tootsie says, engage. Well, thank you. And Terry Windsor throws up some Vulcan salutes. Well, thank you, Gina. Thank you, Terry. Vulcan salute to you, too. And, oh, same comment. So, all right. So, with that being said, that's all the comments that we have. I went through every single one of them for Break Free. That being said, I hope I answered some questions. I hope I gave some interesting commentary and feedback for all of the things for Break Free. That being said, I enjoyed my time with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the time with me. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, go watch a fan film, comment on it, like it, share it with a friend. Most people don't know about fan films. Most people never even give them the time of day. Go watch Break Free, but share it with someone who you think would enjoy it. Because, like I said, most people don't even know about them. But once they watch them, they'll be like, oh, you know what, this is kind of cool. So share it with someone who will enjoy it, because they never know unless they know. So that being said, thank you for watching Constar Continuum. It's been fun. Like I said, each week it's going to be something a little bit different. Just a little different outlook on different aspects of Constar, and me going down a little bit of memory lane. Some will be short, some will be long. I think next week will be my outlook on the story arc that I have done thus far on Commander Mickle. So, that being said, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.